Hey, what's up, guys? How's it going? Brandon from BrandonMLewin.com once again. So today we're gonna talk about is something really cool that I love talking about it, which is automating emails. But specifically, we're gonna talk about comparing two systems that I currently use, and I really used MailChimp. So the two systems are MailChimp, and then we have ActiveCampaign. I've used both for a number of months now, and I've really gotten a good feel from the automation side of things. In the past, I've used things from like Acton to Infusionsoft to Entreport, Marketo even for a while, even simple things like Constant Contact. And from an automation standpoint, these two are really fantastic, and I'll explain why. But I'm going to compare the two and just show you how it kind of works. And then actually in future videos and a few other ones that I'll have up here soon, we'll actually talk about how to set it up for different purposes in each one of those systems. So the first one we're going to look at is MailChimp. MailChimp is essentially can be free for email marketing purposes. It really started off as a simple email marketing system, but it has evolved quite a bit. But from the automation standpoint, you actually have to pay for it. So if you have under 500 contacts, you pay $10 a month. Really not a lot of money. But it's really simple to use. The reporting is really nice. The interface is really nice as well. So let's just jump into it and I'll show you what it looks like when we click on automation up here at the top. And if you did not know, just for reference purposes, you can see, right there, that is my painting my wife actually got me for my birthday a couple of years ago, which is of Mr. Abraham Lincoln, who is one of my idols, one of those people that I really look up to as just a person and a leader. And he also is wearing a Derrick Rose jersey, if you can't, or I'm sorry, not Derrick Rose, a Michael Jordan jersey, who is also another idol of mine growing up in Chicago. So to Chicago, well, I would say more so Abraham Lincoln is from Illinois, but two Illinois people, let's say that, and it's been and it's just a cool painting. So anyway, that's a little bit of sidetracking on who I am and what I enjoy, but I love that painting. That's why it's up there. All right, so let's jump into MailChimp. All right. So at MailChimp here, we have the automation processes, and so you can have a number of different ones. You can pause them. As you can see, these are paused right now. They give you the reporting. And then we also have the live ones, which are here, and then you can also see the reporting as well. So let's just jump into actually creating one just so I can show you how it works. And it's really easy. I mean, it's pretty straightforward. You do need a list created. So depending on what exactly you're going to set up this automation for, it could be like a webinar sequence. It could be a newsletter sign up form. It could be an opt-in form. Maybe they're downloading something. So whatever it is, you can create it. And then you just need to have a list for it. So let's pick this one. I have the 11 killer techniques to sell more. That's download for me, an opt-in. And then I can pick, and then once you click on the list, it'll show you exactly what the different capabilities are. So you can filter by these if you want to do e-commerce or list activity. I just keep it general right here, and you can pick welcome message. This could just be a string of hello, how are you? This could be an education. API you don't really need, and then you can create your own custom one. This could be website activity. This is a little bit outside of the norm. This means more so of tracking people, what they're doing on your website, which you can actually do from MailChimp, but you need to do some add-ons, and you have to add some functionality to it. So let's pick the welcome message one. It's just pretty straightforward. So we pick that, and it's going to take us on to the next screen, which will again clarify some questions here, like what's the workflow name. So we're going to say download opt-in series, and then you put in your name, your email address. You can click here to send activity digest. I like to do this just to see what's going on actually when they do things. So when they take an action, you'll be able to get an email telling. You can do Google Analytics link tracking, which I always recommend, especially if you're going to be sending people back. And then you can have some other options here too. So once you do that, so then when you're done, you go to the bottom to click next, and then it's going to ask you to configure. So we can configure, trigger, workflow. Basically, this workflow, when people subscribe to the list, that means you have to have a sign-up box or a trigger or a connection, an API connection, depending on how you have that set up on your website. But as long as that whoever is opting in on your website goes to this list, then this will automatically trigger. You can also click this box if you want to import them. So let's say somebody contacts you, or if you're talking to people, this could be like from a sales perspective. This might not necessarily be from an opt-in side of things, but again, using automation can be you can use it for a number of different ways. So let's say hypothetically you have a sales sequence where you have people that you're talking to, they call you up on the phone, or you meet them offline and you put them into your CRM system and you want to send them off these emails, this sequence, then you would have to import them. It wouldn't be an opt-in from the website. So this is where you would want to click this box within MailChimp, and then you'd move forward. If you're not doing anything offline, or you don't suspect that, then don't worry about it at all. But I normally, even if I don't, I always click on that because there's no reason not to have that functionality. So you can always just go back if you need to. All right, now that we're moved on, we would just click on to add email. And this is where we go in and we create our email. So we put in anything that we want. We design it. We add the text, the content, any images that we perhaps want to add in there. And then we can do this. This is where we can start adding more emails. So let's say we want to have a series of 5 emails that go out. We just click, add 5. We would have to go in there and we would have to create those emails, and it wouldn't let us actually go on to the next area until, it would let us go on to there, but we couldn't actually start this workflow until all of this is set up. Then up here, what you see though is that the condition gets run. They import to the list. Then you can change the delay. So right now it's default 1 day after. You can do, like, if this is something you wanted to go out immediately, this is where I would go and click this and hit save. And that's the first one. Typically you want it to go out right away. There's no reason to really have a delay. The delay comes in for the previous, or not the previous, but the next emails. So this is where you would want to, this is where you could change delay. It could be 1 hour, you could change it by weeks, hours, days, whatever you want. You can click functionality too. So you can set it up in a workflow where, let's say they opened the email 1 day after they opened it, and then you hit save, and then you could see that 1 day open. You could do this 1 day that they not opened it. So you can have a number of different emails for different reasons. I have to move this up there. You can get very specific like that, where you can start segmenting people out, and it's great. It's pretty easy within MailChimp. So let's say you set it up, you got all the delays the way you want it. You would just hit next. It's going to tell you though that you don't have the email set up. So when you go down, it's going to give you a checklist of the green is the okay parts, obviously the red and X is not. But let's say you had all this ready to go, you would see this button right down here in the corner that says start workflow. You would click that and you would be ready to launch, and you would be ready to go. So that's how you set it up. It's pretty easy here on MailChimp. Let's jump over to our ActiveCampaign. Now, I have graduated steadily in my last year and a half back on my own, where I've gone from using Constant Contact, which was okay, it served its purpose, but from an interface and a design perspective, it wasn't very good. It was very much back, it was stuck in like the early 2000s, late 1990s. It looked very clunky, kind of reminded me of AOL, quite honestly. If you remember back how AOL was kind of structured and how it looked, That's what it reminded me of. It just didn't look like it progressed with the times, as MailChimp has, and has always stayed very nice and clean and user-friendly. ActiveCampaign has been the same facet too. So graduated from Constant Contact, went to MailChimp, loved MailChimp, but felt like I needed something else. And I started exploring, and then I found ActiveCampaign. Now, I've known about ActiveCampaign because they're a Chicago company, and I'm from Chicago, although I don't live there anymore. I've known about them, and I've tried them out a little bit in the past, but I have to say now I am extremely happy that I made the switch. I've had a couple clients that have used them in the past as well, and was always happy using them when I did. And now that I'm using it personally, it is just a fantastic system, and especially from an automation standpoint. And there's so much that goes into this. And from a price point, it starts off pretty similar to like a MailChimp, but because the enhanced functionalities that there are in it, because it's not just the email marketing system, it's like a CRM system. It's what I would consider as a less expensive marketing automation system. It has a lot of the similar functionality as an Infusionsoft or Entreport, but it's not quite as expensive. So it is a wonderful tool. I highly recommend it. And you know, for 5,000 email subscriber list, you can pay somewhere around, or under 5,000, you can pay somewhere around like $45. If you have like I think it's like 2,500 to 5,000 to the $45 mark. And if you have under 500, it's like $9 a month. So it's very similar from a price point in a smaller aspect as MailChimp, but as you get a little bit higher up, and depending on what functionalities, because you can get a full-out marketing automation system here for about $100+ a month, depending on, again, how big your email is. So just check out the price points and see where that might fall in. But again, from a functionality standpoint, it is by far one of the best tools that I have used for marketing and marketing automation and email marketing. So let me show you how it works. So you have a number of different ways. You go up here, the button, you click new automation, and what you see here is that it has all these categories. So you could have increased revenue. It gives you essentially the skeleton for these different objectives. It could be increased traffic, and they'll help set you up on that. Automate sales, boost contact satisfaction. So if you have customer support is a part of your email, then this is a big part of it. Manage and track contacts, so like contact scoring and contact management. There's all these different automation systems that you can set up. And I typically I like to start from scratch. I haven't really done a lot of these just because I know exactly what I want, but not to say that you can't actually go out there and just use these templates depending on what your objectives are. So this is where we're going to start right now. I'm going to hit scratch. I'm going to go to create. And then it's going to ask you, what's the initial trigger? So this can be a number of different things. You can have a subscriber, someone who comes in and subscribes to your list. You can have, maybe they opened up an email. So maybe you're sending out just a regular email, but they opened it up and you want to then get them into this automation system. It could be that they clicked on something in an email. You can see that if they visited your website. So like I mentioned, there's a lot more functionality to this. Actually, what ActiveCampaign allows you to do is that from a Google Analytics standpoint, you can see what people are doing. You don't see what exactly people that are doing, but you can see what people are doing in your website. Having this type of, and this is where the marketing automation comes into, is that the ActiveCampaign allows you to put special code on your website that tracks anyone who's a contact in ActiveCampaign. So let's say Lillian here, who is a contact in my system, went to my website and visited the resource pages, and then I saw that she clicked on that link, and then I saw she came back and checked out the resources again and clicked on another link. and then she went ahead and came back and downloaded something. One, I can score her to say, all right, these are based on her actions, this is the score she's going to get. So that could actually be a trigger, which you can see this is one right here. But I could also say that she clicked on a couple links in the resource pages, so that might trigger a marketing automation system. So again, I can see, as long as she's a contact in my system, I can actually see what she's doing when she comes to my website. It's cool stuff. I mean, amazing, especially from a personal standpoint, a personal marketing kind of one-on-one. You're able to give people more of what they want based on their behavior. And you got to be very careful on how you approach it. You don't be like, hey, I noticed you clicked a couple times on my website. How about we talk? Don't be creepy like that. So anyway, you got to figure out what the trigger is going to be. But we're going to make it really simple, similar to what we did with the MailChimp, and we're going to do a subscribe, and we're going to pick a list. We'll do 11 killer techniques again, and we'll do add start. And then you can see, again, you can add different triggers here. So you could have another trigger. Let's say they visit a page, or they submit a form, or they open an email, or they share an email. Anything that you possibly want in here, you can add as another trigger. And then you have this plus button. So the plus button would be like, what's the next step? This is where you would be, and if we did the same thing, the same type of system with MailChimp that we did over here, we would just go to email, we set up an email. I gotta create an email. And then also, hold on, let me show you. You can also do, you can see a CMS. So you can actually do text messages within ActiveCampaign too, which I highly recommend, because those, depending on your business, but those are becoming very popular. So we're gonna just call this test email number 1, create. Then you would have to actually go in there, and it's gonna take you and redirect you to actually creating a email. I'm just gonna pick one. You can use this design, test email. Make sure you got all the right contact information in there. Continue. If I remembered the song from Jeopardy, I would have sung that, but I did not. It just, the melody did not pick up. I just had to make something up. So I hope you don't mind my little serenation. Actually, is that even a word? All right, here we go. So let's go. We got this. I'm gonna hit this one, and this is where we would start to add in the workflow. So this is where it gets more complicated, and not complicated, but more complex. And this is where you can really dive in and get deep into your automation much better than you can in MailChimp. So first of all, you could do wait. You could do if and or else. So let's say we want to do if. We could say if the contact, let's say action, has opened the email, and we just pick the test email that we just sent out. We push OK. And then what you would see, and this is where they recommend that you put a wait period in here. So I'm going to put a wait period in here, and I'm just going to do a day. But hold on, let me show you. You can actually do hours, minutes, days, weeks, months. Much different and much more, it goes much deeper than a MailChimp does. It allows you with the minutes and the hours and the months and years. So I'm just going to pick the day, and then you see if they opened it, then it's a yes, and then you can trigger what they get. Then maybe it's another email, and then with the no, you can then put them, maybe you say, you know what, let's just add a tag to them, did not open, or whatever you want to label it. And then you add the tag to them, and then you can also go back up here and you can end this automation. So that means they will not get any more emails. On this side, if they open it, you can then give them another email. You can then trickle down what that goes into and what those effects are, or what that process is for this specific automation. So maybe it's another string of emails that come along, and maybe you segment them out again. So you continue to give people more of what they want based on their behavior. If they open it, great. You could even put on here, like, or I should say you could put on, so if they open it, you can even extend this out to maybe like a day. So they open it, they get this. If they don't, you could say wait a day, and then do some other triggers, but we're not going to get that deep into this. So you just keep on going. The cool thing about this too is, like, let's say we send an email, and then the next one, we can send them to another automation. So maybe you have another automation set up, and then they've done certain actions in this one, and because they have, and they keep on opening the stuff up, you take them off to another email automation system because of what their behavior is. Maybe they clicked on something, maybe they opened a specific email, whatever it is that would set off that trigger. And this is where the planning comes down to. You can then shoot them over to the other side. So but we're not going to get into this because I'm going to have other emails that go deeper into these actual actions. But I wanted to show you what each one looked like, what MailChimp versus ActiveCampaign look like from setting up your email automation systems. And I'll have specific videos for each one of these marketing systems to show you specifically how to set up email marketing campaigns for automation purposes and future videos. So there you go. If you like this stuff, please do me a favor, share it. Also, leave me a comment down below. What are some automation systems that you're thinking about using, or perhaps you are currently using? And I'd love to hear kind of how you're using the email automation for your business. We'd love to hear that. So leave that down in the comment section. If you like this, please do me a favor, subscribe. Also, pass this along and share it. The sharing is caring, and I would appreciate that. But I think more so the people who need this video, who need to see this information, need to get a better education on automating emails and the different systems available to them. This would actually really serve them quite well. So you would be doing them a service, and you would also be helping me out, but more so them. I appreciate it. Until next time. Also, before I forget, also go to my website, brandonmlewin.com if you're not already there, and check out all the cool stuff I have on there. I made some changes, really made it better user-friendly, have some resources up there. And if you like using ActiveCampaign, go to the resource page and click on there if you want to give them a trial. I actually have a special offer for you if you do that. And then once you do sign up for it, just shoot me an email at brandon@brandonmlewin.com. And actually, I'll give you 30 free days besides the free trial on ActiveCampaign if you sign up on my website, if you want to test it out and if you're serious about using it. So that's the offer I'm going to get. You can't get it anywhere else. So there's the perks of being friends with the people who work there. All right. I appreciate it. Check out the website, share this, leave a comment, and I will talk to you guys in the next video.